Hey there, Delilah. This is another episode of Rock Bottom Cartels. Forgot the name. Rock Bottom Cartels Side Hustled series, arguably the biggest podcast in the universe. Thank you for listening. This is an episode where I sit down with my good friend Yatte. That is Yatte. He is a musician. That is my oven. He is a musician here in Austin, and he's done a bunch of stuff. And we sort of go through the entire journey of what he's done, where he's been. Really cool. He focuses his sound now in terms of his music on the 80s sound. And I'm not really sure how else to explain it, but it's just one of those things where if you listen to his music, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So not now, but after you listen to the podcast, go listen to some Yatte and see exactly what I'm talking about. But hope you enjoy. Had a great time. He's a good friend. And yeah, here it is. Can you hear?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Well, let's pick it up from here. How are you, man?
Good. Is that rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Podcasts, I like to talk about nothing and then like I feel like we're doing the same thing. Like just chill and then podcast.
Yeah. It's like a smooth transition. Well, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah.
Good friend. We see each other every Friday. So this is a very different setting.
Yeah.
No beers in hand.
Have we ever been in one, both of us in just the, are we the only people?
I see where you're going.
Have the two of us been in a room where no one else is in the room?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Did you come over for working on a song? I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
I think maybe when we first met.
Yeah.
Where did we?
I don't know.
Where did we hang out the first time?
Like after we met, the day we met was at
a show, right?
Yeah, Free Week or the Hot Summer or whatever nights. Because remember, I knew you on Instagram, and then you're like, I live here now, and then you were downtown with all the homies, and then I'm like, oh, I'll be there downtown. I'm gonna be getting like a hot dog or something.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, we're walking up, and then we went to Empire.
So no, not even off rip. Well,
here we are.
I'm glad that we're having this conversation, man.
Yeah.
This is really cool. So, as I was explaining a little earlier, the whole premise of the podcast is to sort of have a discussion of the process and the come up and how that's looked like for everybody individually. In this case, come up. Let's talk about Yatte.
Sure.
You now, so you're the main thing that you're doing is the Yatte project, Yatte.
Yeah.
But that is fairly recent.
COVID.
And I hadn't realized that until I sort of went on a deep dive of your music.
Yeah.
And it's all post 2020.
It's I think the first single is 19 right before COVID basically.
So it's super fresh.
Yeah.
I just had this, just coming into it that it's been going on forever. So clearly that hasn't been the case, but you've been in the scene for a fat minute because and this used to be a topic of conversation with Darian quite often, in a funny way, because we would talk about somebody in the scene, mm-hmm. and then go on their Instagram or something because we were snooping around and trying to figure out how to either talk to them or what. Yatte's following them.
I was following you, or no? I was following
the person that we were looking at, and it turned out to be sort of like an ongoing thing that you had mutual connections to all these people that we were sort of, I don't know, looking up or trying to get info on, or whatever the case may be. Exactly, and locally. So you've been around.
And that account was a different project That was Wonder Bitch. That was the old project. That's probably why it was like so surprising.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So that band was several years, and then I asked everybody, hey, since we're doing like another bunch of things, can I just call this one my own thing and call it whatever? And that's how it kind of started. But yeah.
So were you always running Wonder Bitch?
No, it was like a what do you call it? Democratic, but not really. But it's as much as you can say, But it was kind of. I was the singer, but I wasn't like the person. You know what I mean?
I see.
But it always puts you in a little bit of an advantage or whatever as far as power, I guess.
So let's back it up. Where are you from? Aren't you from Utah?
No, my parents live there now, but I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Then went to college in Indiana, and then we came here. Or then I came here.
So that's fucking cool. So the group of friends that you were making music with in St. Louis, you guys decided, let's go to Austin.
Other way. So grew up in St. Louis, went to college. All my friends I met when I was like 19. The ones that I'm still with we all came down here after we realized there was nothing we could do in Indiana at all. But we had a really cheap house and we made music together. And then there was nowhere to really play. So most of us moved here. So this is like 11 years ago now.
Why did you guys pick Austin?
My friend from college lived here, so I came and visited. And then my friend Joel that was in my band then as well, his brother was there. So he was in Houston, but he was like, we'll see what Austin's like. I heard it's cool. It was cool. Then we came back, and then we watched an episode of Bourdain. And so then Butch, which I think you met, maybe not, I can't remember if you met, but he was the drummer, and he saw an interview of that, or not an interview, the episode. And it was like, Austin's super cool. Here's all these bands that live here, and there's insurance for musicians. And he was like, oh, dude, like
that's the place.
Yeah, like yo. And I was like, dude, we visited, and they've got like Mexican food everywhere, which it's not like that in the Midwest. Like it's around, but it's not very good. So, and I'm like, I love fucking guacamole and shit. I know it's so silly, but it makes you happy,
It made sense, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just all these, and then we went and visited one more time, and we're like, man, like the weather is pretty. I don't think it was summer because we would have thought we were saying the weather was good, which it wasn't summer, but it was still better than it. Indiana has less days of sun, like 80 days that are not sun. Oh, I'm saying that wrong, but there's more sun here for 80 days versus Indiana. So we're like, well, fuck that. It's too sad up there. So we wanted to come somewhere that was happy. So
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you guys come in with the project already?
Yeah, that was Wonder Bitch. So Wonder Bitch, when we started like in our house in Indiana, we flew here, or no, we didn't fly. We drove here, found places to live, and then the main guitar player Joel, he like enjoyed it, but he was like, I don't want to be in a band, but let's be friends, and we still were. He went off into like he always goes into like really weird directions. Like I want to learn how to do perfume, and we're like, okay. And he's like, I want to learn how to do like drawing or whatever. And so we're like, all right, well we can't believe that he's going to be in it. He's going to be in and out, or that's fine. And then he moved away. Yeah, I think he went to California and then back home to Indiana. But so then it was me and Butch.
So it was just three of you.
There was three of us that were here, I think, and then it was two. And then we started finding people when we were like, we go drink. We start finding people like, I play guitar. I'm like, we didn't realize that everyone in the fucking city plays guitar. But
and this was what year?
2014 probably. 13, 14.
Oh, really?
2014. Yeah, so like a decade.
Dude, don't say it like that, because
that's
I graduated high school in 2016.
Yeah.
So
almost a decade. I mean, you got a couple of years.
We're getting but I'm just saying, like, we're getting ready to do a 10-year reunion and shit like that. And
oh wait, your band?
No,
shit.
No.
I was like, damn.
I graduated high school.
Yeah.
In 2016.
About to have your yeah. I don't go to those.
But well, in my class, I was the vice president, and Darian was the president.
Oh my god!
So
that's cool.
I guess we got to figure it out. But anyways, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So what was the scene like around here? I mean, because right now it kind of feels dead.
Yeah,
And
I either it's dead or I'm not into it because I'm old, but I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like there's shit going on. There's things going on in each separate corner.
Yeah, yeah.
But there doesn't seem to be like a cohesive movement that you can say there's something happening.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll credit where credit is due. There's bands that are doing good things and solo artists that are doing well, but it seems like everybody's doing it on their own.
Yeah, could be.
Not so much like a team effort of bands or a local record label pushing bands out. You know what I mean?
I haven't played live in a while, but when I was, there was definitely just people would just like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, actually, I'm doing a show. Do you want to be in that show? Like, I don't, but I'm not doing. I'm not in that like focus right now. So maybe it's still there, but I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. It's not in my view anymore.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we're just not in the right rooms where these conversations are happening.
Yeah,
and that could be it. Because we spend so much time at Backlot.
I also don't care about. I don't care about that room anymore.
Sure.
Because no one really. I always talk about this to everybody, but it's like Austin doesn't necessarily care about launching you, but it's not like a bad thing. It's just there's just that structure isn't there, and no one. Maybe it's a money thing, but there's just nowhere to go. But unless you like go on your own, which maybe that's what we're talking about.
I also think that happens probably in every market.
Yeah,
because of the fact that I don't know, it's you lose the appeal when it's something that's low because you're so used to it. It's like, oh yeah, I mean these guys play here all the time.
Yeah.
But then that band goes over to New York, as an example, or Nashville, or I don't know, anywhere else, and well, you kind of got to see them now because they're not from here, and so it feels like there's more support.
Yeah.
And I also think that subconsciously there is some sort of gatekeeping when you like stuff and it feels like your own. I'm guilty of it. I like when bands are not huge.
Yeah.
Like when they feel like they're mine. You know what I mean? Like I have this connection with them.
Yeah.
And then they get really big and they become less interesting. It's cool. Like, it's cool.
In town, you mean it gets less interesting?
Just in general.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It's like I see in this, obviously I'm not, like I don't, like I'm not going to wish a band not to do what they got to do or an artist.
Yeah.
But
I hope they call me too.
yeah. It's just, it feels, even if it's not a local band, but a smaller band.
Yeah.
That I discover, and I'm like, oh, this is like my band, and I put people on.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
The moment they start like crossing over, it's just like, but you were mine.
No, that was a really funny. So you're a little bit younger than me, but there was a whole deal back when like the indie scene was really important for the world, like indie. Like indie rock and all that stuff. It was like the whole joke was like in memes. It was like that's. Like, yeah, it was cooler when I knew who it was, like that whole thing. And, or like, yeah, the album, once everyone knew who they were, sucked. But it's like a classic thing. But I still feel the same way about people and bands and comedians and all that stuff. It's real. It's like a real thing. But it's probably like, it's definitely like, it's like an ego thing. But why? I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's just, that's the thought process.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So you guys bring Wonder Bitch here. What happens with Wonder Bitch?
It's COVID. Well, no. Oh no. So here's the main thing. Well, we had lots of different people in the bands. Like some people had to go, and some people were like stay, and then some people got busy. But what happened was, me, Butch, and Bruce, which you met one of those two at some point. We were kind of the main two, and Bruce was like a newer guy, but he was like smart. So we're like the smart people, somewhat younger. I mean, older. So we're like kind of smarter, and it seemed like that. And then, but then we were in two bands together. The three of us were in two bands together, and all this. Bruce, his other band that we're both in. Sorry, it's hard to explain. That's called Mid Century. That was another fun, like another band at the same time, like in different kinds of different, like not values, but different vibes. Like that one's more for like probably meant for being like rich, like that seemed like that's what it felt like. But playing, like the goal was like being with our homies, be rich, and like just play stuff that we think is pretty good and people will like it. And then Wonder Bitch was a little more like maybe exciting of an idea and more like nostalgic of an idea. But then all of a sudden at the same time, it's like, how do we, it's like if someone asks who wants to be in this this venue for this night, it's like, oh fuck,
How do we decide?
how do we
which one
win?
goes?
Like, and then it's like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's, I don't know. It was to where I was like, okay, well, if we're going to make this get rich on this one band or whatever, let me like be this thing. Cause a lot of it ends up being my 80s sounds or end up become part of it.
Sure.
So I'm like, why don't we just let me have this? And there was no problem. They're like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm like, yeah, you guys come in, like, I'll let you know when a song is like you're perfect for, and we'll just do it. We'll make songs together whenever. But I can go like in this direction, and we don't have to. There's no problems now. We can get rich with this band and do whatever we want to do. And then this one, I can just work on it, like even like in the van or something. You know what I mean? It won't. You know, maybe someday that'll be a problem. But then COVID happened, and then so I started. Or my first song was right before COVID started. Time Wasted. That's like everyone's favorite for the most part, except for the. Anyway. COVID happened. We were going to be in some really good with mid-century. We were going to be like playing with like famous people randomly. It was you know, like a manifestation type of thing, and it was starting to happen. COVID happened, and then people started going to like different directions, you know, because we couldn't play live.
Sure.
And the music wasn't as exciting to me as the shit I'm working on, obviously. So all my stuff goes that way during COVID. And then once COVID has been, now that it's gone, we kind of like, we're all doing in different directions, like completely.
Yeah.
Like like Bruce has a business. Butch has like a job that he has to wake up every morning, like really early. Paul moved away, like all that kind of shit. And, and then Eric, the bass player, is now in like kind of a famous band. And so it's like,
What band?
fuck. So, but that's why I was like, all right, I've seen this happen too many times as far as people leaving like a group where even though it's the coolest group ever, I'm like, there needs to be no group. There's not a group unless I don't think there's enough money around for music to even put that together. And even if it is, then you get the egos. And so I'm like, I will be the captain of this ship, but I would love my friends to be in it. And if they have, and because I know they're not going to have time all the time, or maybe none. But if they do have time, then we're in, and it's fun.
So what? So this is sort of the tail end. This is the end of Wonder Bitch.
Yeah. So that's right in the middle.
But what happened from Wonder Bitch gets to Austin? How do you guys infiltrate the scene?
Damn, that's a good question. We went to a lot of shows, and man, I think we just drank with people and like that. See, we do go to the back lot a lot, and that's not shows. You know what I mean? So that might have been part of it. Like we really wanted to be part of that.
So were you guys hanging out downtown?
Yes, which it was cheaper then, so that's also part of it.
That's the thing.
Parking was easier.
So parking. I mean, I still park under the bridge, which is free. It's just kind of sketchy now.
It's free?
Under the bridge, yeah.
Wait, there's a machine, isn't there?
It doesn't even work.
Oh shit! Okay.
I've never
You
paid.
have to use it. I use an app, but anyway.
No, well, the app I use for street parking, but for under the bridge, it's been free for the past couple of years.
Oh damn! Okay. Shit.
So that's where I park, and then, I'd be down in downtown all the time with Darian.
But then it's like $15 to get into a show.
Yeah, and
back then it was $5. So
every
that's
year, exactly. So every year
this is running, right? Just making sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
got to be the double check.
No, at some point I know that one is running because I see the light. But at some point I'm gonna get up and check that one because that one's the.
Oh, there's another one. Where's the other one?
Here on the phone.
No.
The
Oh, there it is. Duh.
Yeah. So it's probably just camouflage.
Cool. Pardon me.
So at some point, because we would come for every hot summer nights, we would do every free week.
Free week, yeah.
And just beers started costing more.
Yeah.
every year, and it's just what the fuck is going on here? And when you had tall boys at $5, it was all fine and dandy, but now that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you go downtown and you're spending
like $30 if you're lucky
on drinks alone, and like that's if the show doesn't have a cover.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand sometimes why, as a band, you would want to charge that much for a cover, because you're just not gonna get people in the door.
I guess I haven't checked if they're getting in the door. That's a good. I don't know if I've been to a really big band or a big show with a local. Sometimes they do. There's a couple bands that can bring people in because they're fun.
Well, here's the thing.
Anyway,
if you bring people in the door, right, most likely it's because this person is. If you're charging $10 a ticket, this is my assumption. The people that are going to your show are either your friends, a plus one of your friend, right? But that's as far as that'll go, because the plus one of a plus one is that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then also people in the music scene that are aware of you, right? But I think that to really transcend and sort of break, because that's a very vicious cycle to be playing shows in, and after a while your friends can only see you that many amount of times,
and you don't get paid that much either.
Exactly. Before your friends start going, well, I'll catch them on the next one.
Yeah.
You know,
unless you have attractive people there where they can come see them at the same time, like in the crowd.
But if you, my thought process, if you really want to make it past that, you have to invite the attention of just regular old people that are not even into music that much, but they're looking for something to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And investing $10 in a band that they don't really know is not something that they see as valuable.
Yeah.
So it's either a low ticket cost or a free, but now venues are not going to give you a portion of the bar sale. Let's say you make it free, which in turn would make more people come in,
right?
Which would
you don't see that much anymore.
Generate more sales.
Yeah,
they're not going to say, okay, well, we won't give you a guarantee, but we'll give you a portion of the bar sales, which I think it's fair. And so I would take a free show under that deal any day, because, well, it's a fair trade, you know what I mean? And you're not asking for money from the venue that, you know, they're not going to necessarily make, or whatever the case. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents in it. But
I guess it depends. Like, what are you going for with, like, I always like, what are you actually going for doing, like, playing a show is fun as fuck. Is that the main thing you're going, or is, like, you know, like, what's your actual, like, doing, what are you doing in life?
I guess so.
So that's part of it too.
Well, I mean, even if you're doing it as a career at that point, I think it goes back to the same thing. Well, I mean, the idea would be to, like, that's part of, in my head, thinking about it as a business, that's part of the marketing expense, is to charge a little less to bring more heads in, which in turn are going to create more listeners, which might buy your merch at the show or come back. And so I don't know. I think the emphasis on the hard ticket count price, it might be wrong, but whatever. Let's not.
Well, I will say, I bet no one really got paid enough to do it. They just found another way to do it, to, like, make sure they could do the fun part. But I don't want to be, like, too, like, a downer, but, like, I think it was just a fun thing to do, and some of those bands are gone because of that. But I'm not saying there isn't a way. Like, I mean, I guess that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, and that's That's a good segue.
People quit after a couple years of singing or playing anything, and they're like, "Oh, that was my fun. Okay, time to get my time to make a baby," and that was cool. Like a lot of those people, they don't actually Man, if you look at the like the shows playing like today or whatever, I don't know. I know maybe one of like 50 or whatever.
Yeah, if that.
And I'm like, a lot of people just COVID is way part of it, but either they figured out a way to be on like live somewhere else or go on tour, or they were like, oh, that was fun. That was a nice music part of my life, and that was it. And but you have to be okay with that. You have to realize
it's almost
coming.
Impossible. Like, you have to be okay with not having the same amount of comfortability that you would if you weren't just relying on that. And so I wanted to ask you, when you guys came down here, what were you guys doing? In terms of just work, because you had to live somewhere. I mean, you didn't have family here. I mean, you had to pay rent. You had to pay for your food.
What was that app called? Not Instagram. Well, what's the one where you get groceries and sent and Instacart. That's what I was doing for like the first year.
You were working as a driver?
Everyone was doing like really small things like that, like Uber, like people stuff like that. And that was enough for the most part cause we're talking a decade ago. So now it's, rent's crazy and all that. But what else? I started doing music video. That was a little bit later, but just sound and editing and all that stuff. That was cool. I'm trying to think what my other bandmates did. Man, I can't remember. My my memory is wiped about 10 years ago. But I remember all of it when I was 5, but not 10 years ago. Really? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's part of my music, is why it's like why it just sounds like it's from 86 to like 1991, is because that's like my memories that I kept because I thought they were really nice and I felt good back then. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay in that world. And clearly, it's like, I don't know. That's kind of that's a short way to explain.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. And I don't really like now realizing that you can just listen to anything and probably enjoy it. And now you know that people are just trying to force you to listen to the coolest things or whatever. There's so much cool shit. So like, why not just focus exactly on this bubble I like right now? Maybe I'll try some of the newer stuff later. But who gives a shit?
Yeah, like, but I mean, yeah. I think that's part of. I say this. It's good that you have that, because part of my problem is that I want to do a little bit of everything. Yeah. And so
we got 2 bands. That's fine.
Yeah, but I'm just within my solo stuff. I'm so influenced by so many things that I'm like, what if I make a song like this and then this and it sounds like a different band? But I have to think that maybe where the industry is going to start like heading towards at some point, because everybody likes everything now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I
But 18 seconds at a time. That kind of thing.
That's the problem. That's the issue with it too. That having to limit yourself and the shit that you're making. Oh, well, is this gonna be too long for radio? Whatever. Oh, yeah. Well, with your music, it doesn't seem like you really give a fuck about it.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So I'm a little bit older, so I've had that extra decade to stop giving a shit. It takes a long time to not give a shit. Well, it doesn't have to be, but yeah, I don't know. Like I just believe that if I keep working on this thing, and you see people do this all the time, if you like keep working on something and you're like the best at something, and everyone's just like, oh shit, like a painter or something. Yeah. Like it's like, oh fuck, that's a good painting, and it's like I'll buy that shit. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't care about TikTok. I tried. I do like Instagram still. I would love to know what the next thing is, because I'll get it on the next one probably. I was too late to like figure out TikTok before everyone else figured it out. And I don't I don't want to be like, that's, yeah.
I agree so much.
Some people I see people on TikTok that are like not even happy to be doing this. They're just like, you know what I mean? There's like, and then they put like the thing on top of them, like
I have this thing
They
that
don't even want to be there.
yeah, I think I'm a very good ironic TikTok dancer.
Yeah, nice. Like you hate it and you're like,
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But what was my question, dude? I wanted to ask you something. We were talking about right before
Not
this.
giving a shit. A decade.
The niche. Oh, yes. So you're saying that long term, right? The more that I put into this thing, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, it something happens.
Yeah.
What is that something
I don't know.
that you're sort of visualizing?
Yeah, like I don't think there's an answer. It's just like for some people it is, but then it's like I don't know, it's not as cool. But I'm not saying like I'm gonna never know or like I'm fixating on the part that's my favorite, and I don't. It just seems like that's what I want to do. I don't. Promo sucks, but some of it I actually like doing that. Like I like just making like a cool art thing and putting it on Instagram. I like showing the song it exists, but over a certain line, like I don't want to just be like pissed off all day making the thing to show people that it exists. So what I'm doing now is what I'm doing now is meeting people. That's been my power the last decade is like when I was in Indiana, I was so bored that I learned how to like have social skills, which is like, cause we lived kind of far away from downtown. There was nowhere to go in that area. We got like a cool tiny, no, it was a good house, but it was, our rent was $300 a month per person.
Dude, that's how much it was in College Station when I was in college.
So,
and back then I was like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. Jesus. So I would drive downtown and like go to the bars or go to a show, all that stuff. And then there was nothing to do but that. So I got better at, and then like I would read a book about like how to be cool with or nice to people and all this stuff. And I just kept doing that and that and that and that and that. And I'm still doing that with collabs now. And that's the kind of shit where you don't know what's going to happen, but cool things happen that you weren't expecting. That's like, that's the best.
So do you see yourself, potentially just being more of like a producer or stage time artist, we're playing festivals. Ideally, where are you at?
Right now, I just really like getting better at the thing I'm doing, which is producing and songwriting and focusing on this bubble and not leaving it unless I would hate it. But like, as far as like songwriting and all this stuff, I don't know where that's going. Like live,
you're open.
I would
whatever.
love to do live again, but I'm not obsessed with it. But a couple years ago, I was obsessed with like that's so much fun. But I think it's because it's an ego thing where everyone's like, "Oh, he's so cool," and you're like, "Finally, I am cool." Like it's like just like a childhood thing.
Yeah.
But at some point, you probably, if you still like live, it's because you want to make people happy and like that's or like exciting people and stuff. Getting paid, yes, but like so I'm kind of like. Do I care about that part? Like, I don't know yet, but I kind of do like people. I like people being happy or making people happy. And then people in Brazil are always like, come to Brazil.
Come to Brazil.
But they really do that. And I was like, okay, they're the happiest for what? And then I'm like, how do I do that next? And I'm like, oh, it's dangerous. Oh, fuck. Like, oh, that's how much. Oh man, they don't have any money. I'm like, okay, let me focus back on the songwriting. But I don't know. I just going towards what's fun right now, I guess, and try to make that into something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of just forgot about live, but I do miss the happiness of it or the funness and with your homies,
Yeah.
And getting better at an event,
there's something about the planning,
mm-hmm.
the locking in the songs.
Yeah, and everyone's like, you look at each other like
knowing what's about to happen, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's like in my case with like my brother, I know when he's about to fucking rip a crazy ass solo or a fill.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for people's reaction.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck?
And then also the best is when someone says like does like one note wrong or something that's like makes it look kind of funny. The audience has no idea, but you look at each other and you're like laughing. You're like,
what the fuck was that?
Yes. I don't know. One time, Yeah, one time Bruce was like in the wrong key at the beginning of a song, like da 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 da, and I'm like, hang on. It's like
I'm sorry.
I want to, but like, yeah, the audience has no idea what's going on, but except the fans know exactly what's going on. But yeah, like the fans. But that was fun. I do miss that, the homies on stage,
dude. It's really cool. So one time when we were, I think this was the last Better Stranger show that we did.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a couple kids in the front, like they came as a group.
Wait, where was this?
In Miami.
Oh, okay.
And they came.
Oh, yeah.
They came in as a group, and they were counting because at that time we were pretty deep already into like doing proggy stuff. So they were just like
The Tool stuff. Yeah.
looking at each other.
Oh,
Like, holy
yeah,
shit.
oh, yeah.
Like they were.
There was probably not a girl in that crew, was there?
Well, there.
Or she wasn't counting.
Yeah, like the ratio kept turning the more we played.
So because Nick has his girl now, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah, so they don't care. You know? They're like, they're said.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just about making money.
Yeah,
and making
true.
Cool songs. You know, it's
That's-
like we don't got to worry about.
But
girls.
then you realize later, it's like, the ladies, where'd they go? Like those are nice. Those are nice too. Like,
but yeah, that was it is satisfying to see like shit like that happen. You know. So okay, Wonder Bitch is done.
yeah, we might do like a show at some point to like if the homies are still here that like miss that band, like we could do it. But that would take a lot of work, so I'm just working on something that I can go in that direction still. You know, where I'm going.
But for in terms of the timeline, Wonder Bitch is done.
Yeah.
Yatte happens.
Yep.
What happened to the other band that was supposed to be like
That's what I was telling you.
Getting rich as fuck?
If you scroll back, I mentioned basically, I'm not mad. I'm just saying, I'll summarize. But basically, COVID, everyone went into their own directions.
Oh,
of
you did
life.
say that. You did say
that.
So the band fell through. You're right.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then you're the last man standing.
Not as like people are still doing music here and there, but
Here and there.
yeah. But no, I'm doing it. I do it every day. I don't think anyone in that band does it every day. Well, no. Okay. Butch, he's the drummer for a couple bands in town now, cover bands and a couple other ones. He still works on music pretty much every day still.
But do you think subconsciously, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but do you think that most of them have just been like, you know what, this has turned into a hobby. This is something that I'm going to do just because it's fun and I like hanging out with my friends, playing music, and I'm okay if that's as far as it goes. Yeah.
Me, I probably not for now because
But that's what I'm saying.
I have a goal that I'm going for fun. It's a fun goal of your life, you know, like it's like if you have the strength or whatever, it's like I want to do this, fuck it. Let's see what happens. But if they say no, that's fine too.
Why do you think that you've remained? Like why do you think that you can't escape that?
Good question.
Because I've talked to on the episode that I talked to Darian about it. I may have talked to
Did he play music ever?
No, he's always been on the industry management side of it all. But we talk about it as being a curse. And once you get that idea in your head, for some people it's very easy to just let go after a certain point, the same way that I was a skateboarder.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to be the next Ryan Sheckler.
Yeah.
And then once I turned like 12 or 13 and I didn't get an X Games gold medal, I was like, well, this is just something
that hurts
for fun.
my ears. It hurts my legs a lot.
Yeah. And my shins. And it's fun,
I
but
might kill myself on accident.
I just knew I didn't have it as much as I should.
Yeah.
In me, you know what I mean, skill wise, to be able to, and I was realistic with myself, and that was fine. But I don't think I'm ever going to be able to admit that with this.
Yeah.
So why do you think you were cursed with it as well?
I think I must have read a book or something that's like, you could do anything in this life. It's like, it's all going to be the fucking same anyway. It's like, okay, well, I like music. And then people, fans, when they started showing up, it's like, oh, they're happy. And it's like, this is probably a good direction. Like, I'm not getting all the money that I wanted back then, but I'm getting better at that part. So who knows? But like, or like happiness, or like, just like, man, when I was running ads, that was the very beginning of Yatte. It was finding, it ended up just being me spending on ads for people to hear it, which is great. But so I don't do that anymore. But the people that found the app, that found the ads, were like, so like, they're like, you just made my life so good. And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, I'm just going in that direction because that's a nice thing to do in your life, you know? And I like music a lot, and I like puzzles apparently all of a sudden. So I like mixing to like try to figure out how to make something good and how to make it kind of feel like this, like I did for your song. I want to make his song sound like Chili Peppers, like he was asking. And I'm like, so that was really fun. Just fucking coffee, just like, how did they do this? How do I do this? You know, like this is so it's like fun, and music's kind of more magical than skateboarding, I think, slightly, like because it's for everybody. And
I see.
Yeah.
If with the skateboarding thing, it's more of like a self-rewarding thing.
Yeah.
It's like I was able to do that grind. Like
Yeah.
I was able to fucking 360 flip over that fucking 30 step.
Uh-huh.
But within music, it's not so much there's that self-satisfaction comes from seeing other people
Yeah.
satisfied.
Right,
So
right.
it's like, oh, give me more of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you see this,
Yeah.
then it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
what did I do? Give me more of the other thing. And so,
That's a good point.
yeah, I guess
We practiced a lot just so that would make sure that would not happen.
You're like, oh,
Like
shit.
we
Wow.
were people were telling us we were like pretty good. Like people were happy. Some people didn't show up. But when they do, like 50 people are just like whoa, fuck yeah. We probably went bigger than that, but in Austin at least. But that felt good. Shit. And also that feeling of, that's the main part of like live, besides the fun part we were saying earlier, but like just that weird feeling afterwards where like, yeah, in the room feels different for them and you, and you're like, whoa, no one can explain that shit.
Yeah, you create a moment.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And you're not even sure how that worked, but like you knew that you need to do this and you don't know why, but it's like why, what is music? Why is everyone so excited about it? Especially right after we played it and not the other people. Or them too, but sometimes not them.
So besides
We're very good. We're the best. They were not the
We're
best.
the best. Besides drink prices,
And parking.
besides parking,
Mm-hmm.
besides the fact that different decade, what do you feel has changed about the climate within? Because I mean, you've seen it change.
Yeah.
I've only been living here a year.
Oh yeah.
So has there been a clear sort of this used to be this way, or
Yeah, probably, but I don't go to that many shows anymore, but the crazy thing is that the venues are now comedy venues, which is there's
Yes.
there's at least 3 of them that are now mostly comedy that I know, and I think there's more. And that's probably way cheaper to make it happen. And now famous comedians are here too. I'm glad it's art. It's like an art thing. That's not, even if it's not music, at least it's something like that, which is tough and artful and funny, which, it's the same thing, making the room feel better. But that's definitely different. And yeah, I don't know.
You know what's interesting about that with comedy, it must be so hard because yes, there's a lot of clubs and you get to perform a lot.
Yeah.
And your opportunities are now double.
But you can't practice it at home, so you have to do it.
Who do you practice? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's, and not only that, but the amount of writing that you need to do.
Yeah.
Because for musicians, once you get a set together,
you don't have to write much.
That's gonna be your set for the month.
Yeah.
Month and a half.
Yeah.
And people are gonna know. Okay, they're there to see the songs, and they're okay with hearing them again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of it, you know. But you can't fucking make the same joke again.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right. We've heard.
You can't. Yeah, if you're on tour for 2 months, you can do it. But
locally.
but these days they'll just fucking take a photo of it. I mean, a video of it.
Yeah.
So they're, interesting.
So that's a good point.
It's different.
But that's so new though. The whole comedy thing is so fresh.
Yeah. There was two venues on Red River. One is definitely comedy. One's gone. There's two right next to each other there. I forget what they're called. And Swan Dive. Used to love going there. At one point, my friend Sean was the bass player in Wonder Bitch, and he was kind of like for himself. He just himself. He made like a whole part of the scene to happen. I hope he sees this because he'll be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I did." But like, he like brought cool bands to this venue. Like every day, and it stopped people from bringing bad shit or no music. You know what I mean? So there's like actual people that have like the power to do it, and they did it then. Like I don't know, maybe they don't do it so much anymore. Like that one became, I think Swan Dive. I haven't been there in a while, but I think it's mostly like a
Half
lesbian
club.
Gay like parties thing, and so is Barbarella right next to it.
But that
which is fun.
But I think that's what so they're connected.
Yeah.
To the back. So I think Swan Dive is the
that's on the left.
Yeah.
When you're walking
the stage.
That was there was bands there every couple days, like big or shows. Like there were shows there.
Would those get packed? Because I've never been to a packed Swan Dive show.
The weekends they would.
Which ironically, out of all the venues, is the one with the cheapest cover.
Yeah.
And the one with the cheapest drinks. So what the fuck is going on?
Weekends it was usually pretty packed, but then if it's the kind of music that the people that are going to barbs don't really understand the music, they'll just walk through and go to the other bar. But the ones that do understand are the ones that are kind of more simple or whatever, or more exciting. Like they'll stick around and be like, yeah.
Was that always like that?
What's up?
Were they always connected?
Yeah, they're connected. Yeah.
Were they always?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why, at least I've seen it. So like 9 years ago, probably it's been like that. But that was cool because people that were gonna go dance, or at least they're like, whoa. Or if they're dancing and they're tired of dancing, they come here and they're like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are fucked up, like with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. So, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
To have people be able to filter in, just because without having to pay anything extra, if they're there. But it's also the curse in the sense that if they don't fuck with you, they have something else that they can do.
Yeah. Are you talking about Swan Dive or just?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they can just go to the other bar.
But it's probably a money thing as far as like people that like who wants to go there at a Tuesday or whatever. But sometimes actually I don't know if they were open on Tuesdays. Definitely not Mondays. I don't know. There was a day where they didn't open.
No, they are open on Tuesdays because Tuesday is like their big night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Tuesday, you're right. Yeah, that's
What is it called? It's bar.
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Yeah.
But if it was like Thursday, like there's a chance that no one would show up, especially if parking's like expensive now. But if Fridays were usually weekends were great. And it would pack. It would especially. Well, no, that's when you start getting get the lineup good, and that's when everyone's like the homies from that band, and then the homies from your band, and then the ones that are like, and then they bring their girlfriends, boyfriends, and then they bring friends. So that was a magical venue for a little bit. And I wonder if there's more like that still. Maybe Hotel Vegas, maybe it's still like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I don't know anymore.
So hard left in terms of a topic change. If when you think about future, right, and musical career,
yeah,
have you thought about it not working out?
No, and I don't think about anything about the future at all. Like, okay. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if this shit happened. It'd be cool if this happened. But then I'm like, oh wait, what do I got to do today? It's like, oh yeah, like my goal was to like do collabs and make more people know about me without making people feel like I'm like playing a game or over like on them or whatever. Yeah. That's the reason why I'm kind of like slower right now, that I'm kind of like trying to figure out for myself, like how much like sales and promo is like, do I really need to go all the way to this part where I know I'm like lying or telling people I'm the best, better than everyone else, or like I have a secret or like a story about myself that isn't really that important, or I have to make like a more interesting story,
spice it up,
promo shit. And I'm like, can I do this without that? Can I do it with just being happy and knowing that people like the stuff? So that's kind of like what I'm working on now, like at least inside myself.
Yeah. I asked that question because I am also cursed in a good way, good and bad way, to think way too hard about the future.
Yeah.
Especially the future that doesn't even seem relevant now, but before you know it kind of just smacks you in the face. Yeah. And I'm talking about, as crazy as it sounds, considering I just somewhat entered the workforce.
Yeah.
Retirement. And so
yeah.
And that comes from my dad 100%, because he has always been so intentional about preparing for it, making sure that everything,
as if there's still going to be the dollar or whatever, like just some weird shit like that.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that everything is good to go, so that he,
that's fair enough,
can transition without having to worry, into that stage of you're just like, nah, just fucking get to chill and fuck around.
Yeah.
Which is kind of twisted, that you kind of have to work all these years just for those last 20 or 30 of relaxation, right?
Yeah.
But I can't help but think it's in my DNA now. It's in my head, and I have to think about that.
Right.
Are you one of those people that think a couple options? One, I'll probably be dead by then, right?
Yeah, you don't have to think about that one if you don't want.
Right. Two, I'll figure it out when it happens. Or three, you kind of worry about it, but you just put it under the rug.
Like, that's most people.
Yeah, you're like, fuck it.
No, I don't think about it anymore. Not so much. Just because, like, I had scary health issues. I don't want to talk about it, but like after that, I'm like, what am I fucking doing here? I don't have like the cool answers for everybody, but I'm like,
no, I mean, it's yours. I'm looking for your answer.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I'm just like, energy and happiness and all this stuff is like, so it seems like it's what saves the world. Like, it saves your reality. And so, like, whatever, I don't know how to explain it other than that, but like at this point, it's like, it's best to not be like in pain thinking about things, because then you're just in this one moment. That's what you're doing with your moment, is like being like, it's like, do you want to do that with, like, we're here right now, like in this moment, do you want to be doing that or not? And we forget that constantly, because it's like, no matter what your parents, like, you need to be thinking about this and this and this and this. That's fine. But like, are you screaming? Are you like, the whole time? That's the hard part. Or that's the part to get rid of. And sometimes we forget that that we're doing that. It's
So-
like, It's like, oh yeah, why am I screaming? Okay. Like,
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get lost in the sauce
Yeah.
of all that shit and not move forward in any direction just because you're freaking out about
yeah, exactly.
about the what if, right?
But then you'll be like, I was freaking out. I just realized I was freaking out for 2 years there. Whoa.
Dude, I was just having, I'll bring Darian up again just because right before you got here, we were on the phone and we were talking about that. How we've had this period of just feeling like there's no progress. And I was like, dude, yeah, but I think for most of it, I've just been shitting on myself, or like, what are you doing? What's going on? Instead of just acting.
Keep going.
Like, I've been planning and thinking about doing all these things, but not executing. And this podcast specifically, this idea.
Yeah, third episode.
Yes.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah, see?
Thank you.
He can do a thing.
Thank you. Thank you. But the idea of it came to life in 2021.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That's okay.
And so
I got you, though.
And I've been thinking about doing this shit. I got to do that. But it just, why I can't understand. I can't put it into words why there was a delay of that magnitude because 3 years, yes, in the
well, now you're delaying again, so don't even worry. Just
having the conversation.
It's gone.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things, like 3 years don't mean shit for the universe. But
yeah.
For a human,
like,
dude, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, I've watched you like stop. Or, like, I don't know if you were stopping or if you were like at work or something. But yeah, I was like, you had some cool ideas, and I'm like, well, and your friend Darian is the same. He was just like, come on, man. It was, I don't know what it's your life to do what you want to do, but so it's not our fault. It's not for me or not for him to like even give a shit. But
it's just. Yeah, and I am so guilty of getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
way too much.
That's another reason why I stopped smoking weed. I don't know if that. Sometimes it helps people. Sometimes it. It takes me to like. Yeah. I don't. That doesn't work. For a while, I thought maybe it's like if I think enough while I'm high, but
but I think it's one of those things that it can be an escape.
It can help. Noticing issues in your life, body, whatever.
Yeah,
so it can help with that.
And
it doesn't work for me.
What good does it do? If you're just escaping all the time.
Yeah.
Like, to each their own, right?
You realize once it's like, whoa, that was a year. What the fuck just? Yeah. But that's okay because once you finally notice that, that happened to me.
And hopefully you learn something.
Yeah.
From the escape.
And maybe that's why everyone starts doing like LSD and all that stuff, which I tried a couple things at the year that you're supposed to, but then I was like, I don't know. I think it's like, oh shit. What was I doing? What am I, how many years was I like doing this or not? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was gone. That's gone too.
Without obviously without getting too deep into it at all. But just because you brought it up with the scary medical situation, right? Was there in terms of your commitment, in terms of your mentality, of the way you see your future and what you want to do, was there a before and after?
I don't think so. I was just pissed that like, yo, I'm gonna get back to this shit. What am I doing? like, why am I at a hospital? Like, no, I think I still just wanted to do whatever I was doing before. Got it. It's still you, Even if you're sick, you're still you.
And I only bring it up because you had mentioned how from that point, you kind of had this realization of what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. So I didn't know if that intensity of you put out 3 albums in a row
no, that was
happens.
Before. The 4th album is when that happened. So that was already, that's not part of that. Yeah.
Okay.
That I don't know why I think it was COVID because there was nothing to do, and I was just like, It's like, I want another album. I want another album. I don't know why. It's probably coffee. For a lot of COVID, I was just staying at my parents' house, like a lot of people were.
Yeah.
But there was not much to do, you know. And then even when I had a job, like online, not online, but like at home job. Even then, I like just it's like, nah, fuck this. I'll go back. Like,
yeah.
So,
no, dude.
But that was COVID to where you could. I don't know. There was more time for that. I guess. I don't know. I'm slower. I'm slower than I was then because I think I'm going for something harder now, as far as like excellency. And I'm on some different tip right now.
Yeah,
and it takes longer.
And this is something that I wrote down because I was curious on how do you stay consistent in terms of doing that many records in a row.
Yeah.
And not over analyzing it because you're doing your own mixing.
Yeah.
To where everything needs to be perfect. You see what I'm saying? Because that can hold you back, and you're like, no, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. How did you do that much in that short amount of time and not over? You didn't overthink it, and it still sounds great.
That's a good question because, like, at some point, it's good. It wasn't every song though, but for some of them, it's like as someone be like, "That's amazing." It's like it didn't like hurt your ears or anything, and they'll be like maybe the kick was loud, or like I was like, okay, and then that'll be done. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I just know, or no. What's that saying? Who's like, art is abandoned or whatever. It's not finished or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I mean, I get where you're going from, and I think I've heard that before.
Once you get so tired of it, I'm like, it's probably good. Like, someone will be like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, all right. And like, who gives a shit? Like, now I'm a little more worried about it just because I'm like, wait, I want every song I did to be good. like the one that people liked. Like, no one said anything bad about any of my stuff yet, which is weird. Oh, hang on. Anyway, I don't know. It's kind of hard right now because I don't know who to ask if this is like, if it's done. But
I see what you're saying.
Sometimes you just know.
But you had somebody to go to and ask for their opinion. You weren't making that call.
Sometimes.
I mean, for the most part, you were, right? Because you have an idea of when it's done. But that final export to where it's like final, last one, I swear, it will be the last one, wave.
Yeah.
When that happens, I guess you had an extra pair of ears to probably validate.
At least to say like, yeah, it's good. Oh, okay.
You didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything crazy.
Yeah.
I do that with my brother. I do that, too.
But then before that though, it's, I don't know. Like it just hurts so much to keep working on it. Where it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's like someone said it's good, and like, do I like it? It's like, yeah. And then you listen to other songs, and you're like, oh, yeah, it just sounds like a song like everyone else fucking does. A song.
Or another case, my song sounds better than this.
Yeah, that too.
So
that does happen a lot. But because it doesn't matter, even if it sounds good, someone else who has a shitty song gets famous now. So,
dude, when I was in college, my brother-in-law was the second pair of ears that I would just be always sending shit to.
Yeah. Cool.
Now he has kids and shit. Yeah. He's got shit going on.
Yeah.
But my brother now is the guy that I'll write a new verse and I'll call him immediately and be like, check this verse out. And he just sits there on the FaceTime. I'm like, cool, huh? Cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, that was cool.
That's cool.
All right. So it helps.
Yeah, it's good to have someone. Yeah.
So to wrap up,
because
because we're nearing that, I got a couple questions about the albums.
Sure.
What does Yeko Emeko mean?
Oh, that's funny. So Paul, he's a guitar player. His friend, he's really important for like the first couple albums. He moved away, and it got like harder to make sense with that. But we had this language, like a joke, like just to be he would work somewhere that's really boring. His job was really boring. Pardon me. And we would just have fun, like texting like stupid stuff that is spelled wrong on purpose. And he was I think he was trying to write with our language. He was trying to say, what's Spanish when it's like from Mexico, or like it's on like a box. It'll say like
Like made in Mexico or something?
Yeah, but what is it in Spanish?
Hecho en
Yeah. So he was like, Yeko e amico. So we would just say words wrong. Like that was just a fun thing to do while texting. But that, and then I made a song called that as well. And then, I don't know, there's no reason for it doesn't mean anything. It's just fun.
But it works.
But it's also a vibe. Like, cause it also sounds like a Police album name. Yes. As well, because
that's a good point.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that sounds like a police album name.
It works,
and so we're like, yeah, that's it. That's the answer. Yeah.
And so the last project that you put out was a collaboration with Duet. Is that how you say the name?
Duet, yeah.
Is it a he, she?
Well, in real life, it's a guy, but it's like it's just a thing, like on the internet.
Gotcha.
Like it's not supposed to show that there's a person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's just the concept of Duet.
Yeah. It kind of like the Gorillas, it's just like it's a thing.
Got it. Does Duet ever come to life on a live show aspect, or is it just...
Yeah, he does. He shows up as a dude, and he's like DJing, but with his like synthesizer. But he doesn't do that too often. But I think he's doing it like this week or something too. But
how'd you guys connect?
Okay, so there's this girl on Instagram who she's an artist, like she draws, and she draws like anime girls, but she does it. I think she's German, and she just does it every fucking day for hours, and that's her like job at this point because she's so good at it. She does like 80s anime girls, like that's her thing. She's really good at it, and I think she followed me at the very beginning because of some ad I ran out or that I did, and then she texted me and she's like, "Yo, you should meet Duet." And then we text each other. We're like, "Hey," she's like, "Hey," and then we made a song together. Like people fucking loved it, so we did another one, and then another one, and then I'm like, "You want to do a fourth one?" I'm like, "Yeah, but let's do an album." And he was like, "Okay," and then so that was over like 3 years of work.
And that's The Minute.
Yeah,
which great name.
Thanks.
Also,
he didn't. I think he liked the word minute, but I was like, no, The Minute. Like it's the, and he was like, but because all of his albums are like one word, and so I was like, how about The Minute? He's like, all my albums, it's just one word. I don't know. And then like 2 days later, he'll be like, okay.
Yeah, it works.
It's artistic, I understand.
And I noticed that song is Spotify playlisted.
Which one?
The Minute.
Oh yeah, it's on that. Yeah.
How did that happen? Did you guys pitch it, or?
I think he did. I think he's had more things show up on like from back in the day at the beginning of that whole thing. So I think that's like someone recognized his name at the office. Maybe I don't know. I just got lucky on that one.
Really cool.
Yeah. Don't even ask me how that stuff works. The pitching. I have no idea because when it's just doing it for myself, they don't even.
It never works.
And they never talk to you, so you don't have no idea. Yeah.
There's no feedback.
Yeah.
So I just think that they probably have so many entries. There has to
and it's
be,
probably like AI sending it to him at this point.
You got to know a guy.
They might be
sure.
an AI at this point too.
Probably. So anything that you want to plug besides this album that I see that there's a record label putting out physical copies.
Yeah, that's all they do, which is fucking so nice. It's like
out of the UK. They're something Slave recording. Right?
Time Slave.
Slave.
Which I'm glad they didn't get like canceled for that name, but they're in the UK. I don't think they give a shit. I know, I was just kind of a joke. But yeah, they do stuff that's all 80s kind of sounding shit. So that's how they found me years ago, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing vinyls only," and I'm like, "Oh, that's perfect. I don't want to be on like a label necessarily." And he's like, "Nah, not really. It's just like we have our own, fans of our."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh man, I get it. I understand it now." But I'm not like I'll do it for this because it's like a 50-50 thing. It's so easy.
Yeah. And, is it?
They give me 5 of them to just chill to have for myself.
Is it still up for sale?
Most of them. One of them's gone. I think the first album's gone. The fourth album didn't have. Mine was I think it was 270s. I didn't even ask them if they wanted to do it. The second one's
One Good Symphony.
No, that's the one that there's not a vinyl of. I never. I should have asked them because I was just kind of worried. It's like there's a lot of The one with automatic. Yeah, because the rest of it gets kind of 70s as it goes. I was kind of like scared to ask him. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to see the no. See the no. But that's now I'm like I look like a loser now. But
your little foam thing fell.
Phone thing? Oh shit. But yeah, he's done almost all my albums except that one, and then this next one.
Duet?
Yeah, the duet one. Yeah, that just you've been seeing me announcing it.
No, but you're saying that he's been on like duet's been on your albums?
No. No.
Oh, you're talking about the guy,
the
record.
Time Slave. Yeah,
Gotcha.
they've been helping for every.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice
cool,
guys.
Well, where can people find you on social media?
Just underscore Yatte. Just pretty much on everything. And if it's not, it's Yatte .world or something. It's on the other apps that I don't use much.
Cool.
But yeah, Yatte on any. If you write Yatte everywhere, Yatte, you will only pretty much see me on top. Yeah, no, but I don't think anything else is called that. Luckily, that's why another reason I named that. I did that name because I've never seen that word before.
Where did that come from? Just out of like.
So that was supposed to be with that language, the funny language we do. Me and Paul, it was latte. But then we realized it's also like a yacht. It's also like latte, and it also sounds like it's an old like Japanese company that you thought you've heard of before. You know, like Sony.
Like a brand of cameras.
Yeah. So and that perfectly went with the kind of music I was trying to do, like as if it was like a That's exactly what I don't know. It's just the perfect word for it.
Cool, man.
Back then, now people call it Yatte or whatever. I never. Yeah, that's my
Yahtzee.
fault. Yeah.
Anything else that you want to plug?
No, just listen to the shit.
Cool. Thanks for watching episode number 3 of Side Hustled. You can find me on social media as Decasa PRDECASA PR, and obviously follow the channel on Instagram and YouTube as well. You can find it as
right now,
Rock Bottom Cartel. Thanks again for watching, and again, hopefully you guys liked it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm outside your door watching, ain't nobody else